This show is part of the HeadStuff podcast network.
Okay, let's begin the podcast. Let's begin the podcast with a warning.
A warning.
This podcast will contain references to us. I reference a lot of nudity, a lot of bad language. So it does come with a warning for little ears who may be listening in. We will also be talking about our greatest ever sexual climaxes.
It's true.
And a warning that it will be racist, but just towards Irish people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
We will be
and
punching
trigger
down.
warning, Tony Cantwell will be in it as well.
They're attractive. They're very attractive.
Hot and loud.
And a little bit sad.
He was the best guy around.
Oh my. Is it hot in here or what?
You're an attractive guy.
It's the fabulous Tony Cantwell.
I'm talking about Shane Byrne.
Hey guys, what am I doing?
You cracking a can, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have what he's having, whatever
A
it is.
nice,
That
light and
sounds-
refreshing can of Raw Irish Lager, which sponsors the Young Hot Guys podcast.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
and as everyone knows, at this point, everyone knows that it's brewed in Kilcool, County Wicklow.
absolutely. It is an independent Irish. I like to drink Irish, not some of those big, I'm a big multinational.
Hey, I'm a big capitalist bigwig, and I'm gonna increase the price of my beer up and up.
Well, I'm Rira, and I'm not going to raise my prices until January 2026.
Raw Irish Lager. You know what I like when people do trigger warning or content warning and they don't say what the material may be.
Yeah.
So what are you supposed to, if I have a certain thing triggers me, do I have to never watch anything that has any content warning
Yeah.
or trigger warning ever again in my life? They're like, okay, look, trigger warning, but here it is anyway. It's like, well, it's too late. Like,
Yeah.
I have to figure, like, what a waste of time.
But that's because they don't want to do a spoiler alert as well.
Well, tough. You
So they gotta
can do one or
spoiler
the
alert,
other.
content warning. You'd have to write spoiler alert, and then you go content warning, and then you say racism. It's like, and
Or
then
some
the
people-
someone might have not seen the spoiler alert, and they'd be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, I didn't know there's racism in this.
Or
I wanted to find out."
They misunderstood, and okay, spoiler alert for anyone who's not seen Severance. I started to self-harm when I'm like, oh, sorry, I meant trigger warning. Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
You know what it is? It's the bloody virtue signaling. It's virtue signaling. That's what that is.
I love that. This is the man who's read that word today, heard that term today.
Yeah.
Heard about virtue signaling there yesterday. I'm going to
It's
bring it up today.
grandstanding. It's virtue signaling. Signaling.
Typical of the woke left.
I'm kind of a bit disappointed we didn't do a bit more virtue signaling when we were on the Tommy Tiernan show there.
Yes.
Over the weekend. I thought we could have done a lot more with that.
Do you think we did a good job?
Don't reframe the question in it. It was great fun.
Wish we could have said that to Tommy.
I would
Reframe
say
the
we did a
question.
great job at being sincere and having a point that was pointless. Utterly.
I will say, what was the point? Like okay, so what happens is you get a call, you get an email of a Thursday, and it's like, do you want to go on Tommy Tiernan? You have to record next Tuesday.
he
Yes
has
or no?
chosen you, but he doesn't know yet.
He has not chosen us. And then you're like, oh, how exciting. So we're all excited. We got outfits.
Yeah.
We talked about it. We said, are we doing suits? Are we doing cash? We did
Got my
cash. We
haircut.
did kind of a muted palette, military tones. It was
Thus
gorgeous.
the dream flow was born.
Tony's haircut, all
The
that
invention
stuff.
of Dream Flow.
And then you're all excited. And then now in the cold light of day, with the thing being over, I will say I'm grateful for the opportunity.
so much,
It
Mr.
was
Thomas.
nice to be on it, and we had a nice time.
We had a wonderful time.
Everyone treated us so well, and they were
Yes.
absolutely lovely. And Tommy indeed was lovely as well.
Yes.
Tommy Tiernan.
Tiernan.
Tom.
Nothing happened. Nobody gave a fuck.
Well, I remember. Well, bringing it back, I remember when I was chatting to the producer, and Kate was lovely, and who booked us, and we huge fan of the podcast, and loads of people in there so lovely, and said they love
Kira,
the podcast
lovely,
and everything.
lovely.
I think
lovely.
this is the media elite's favorite podcast. The sort of Montrose
Wow.
kind of elite. I think
Maybe
that's
the
who we
media
speak to.
types listen to this podcast, but and the people who listen to this podcast are, just people who like this podcast, but it's unsellable to the greater public.
I would say so, and I have some very interesting tweets now of.
No, I know.
the
I
first-
didn't do the tweets.
I had to have a look. But no, I did want to say about Kate is I said to her, I was like, look, obviously, this is not prepared and he doesn't know we're coming out, so we don't want to over prepare or anything like that. But normally I find that when someone's on there to have a point, or they maybe paint a wider picture of some sort of socioeconomic thing that might be happening, or cultural thing that might be happening in Ireland that maybe you're not privy to, that you might want to get an insight on. So I was like, we don't have that. We don't even agree on the same things. We don't have one unifying thing other than the fact that we did do sketches the odd time, and we're a little bit, we're not blokey.
Yeah, but it's not interesting. This
not
podcast, like, I
interesting.
mean, I like the podcast and people enjoy the podcast, but it's not interesting, is it? Like, you can't say, it's not like,
No,
it's not like, oh,
interesting.
well, see, the thing is, what's different with us is what we do. It's like, we don't, lots of people have podcasts now.
Yeah.
And lots of people have, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But we can't say, well, every week we come into the podcast studio and we do, it's like, we don't.
We're like burgers. You know what I mean? Like, we're just tasty. That's it. Like, that's kind of it. It's not like,
I think we're interesting. 3 deer named after us in the Phoenix Park. We didn't tell him that.
we have interesting things that
You let
happen
me
around
talk
us.
about 10 minutes about the fucking jumper again.
I met a woman at my show the
Should've
other
brought
day
up
in
Gordon
Tala,
Ramsay.
and she said, I was doing the bit after the show where I stand outside and say goodbye and do pictures and all. And this girl said to me, I forget your name, sweetheart, so I do apologise. And then she
Thank you,
said,
Tala.
actually, I don't know if, maybe not a girl. I don't know, they said, do you remember the letter that somebody wrote in? She's like, I'm a boner. I was like, great, thanks very much.
Thank you very
Do you
much.
remember the letter that someone wrote in about the deer in the park? And I was like, are you the one who works in the deer in the park? She's like, no, my friend is. I was like, okay,
Oh, wow.
well, we all have a friend who works in the
Stolen
park.
valor.
Stolen
Stolen
valor.
valor.
Yeah,
Virtue
stolen
signalling.
valor. Virtue signaling. Yeah, yeah.
Grandstanding.
Yeah,
Grandstanding.
yeah. The woke left.
The
The
woke
woke
left.
karate.
Do you know, when we went out on Tommy, you know the way sometimes he has those things, and we saw him when Gavin Friday went out, and Tommy's reaction, he gave that kind of face that was kind of like,
Wow.
you know,
Wow.
you know.
I cannot
And then,
believe
like,
I've been graced with the presence.
When we went out, he just goes, and you'll have to see the actual video podcast, but he kind of just goes like, he just kind of like shook his head and like, what? Why? You know?
And then
He truly doesn't
and then
know
we said,
though.
who did you think it was? And he said, kneecap. And you could
Yes.
see in his face.
He was
He was
devastated.
like,
Yeah.
I have to talk
You
to
would
3
be, though.
fucking comedians.
You would be
be.
devastated.
You would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
If you thought you were getting kneecap, and then you just got us and was like,
Before you
what?
walk
And
out.
he was like, why? What are you doing?
I did history. I did a history in the Leaving Cert, so I know some stuff about the North. You can quiz me on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's stolen valor. That's
stolen
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 valor.
valor.
You cannot have
Grandstanding with
kneecaps
that.
valor.
I played the courthouse in Bangor.
So,
you?
Yeah, sold out.
oh, did
Boom.
you?
Yeah,
Oh, well done.
it's pretty good.
Oh, wow. Your Honor.
Banger.
Bangor.
Yeah, but I thought you said banger.
I did.
Anyway.
That's,
Bangor. Sorry,
that's probably
Bangor.
what the bloody judge is doing was gavel.
Banger.
Bangor.
Anyway, it truly is. He truly doesn't know, and it is. The conversation your segment on the telly is about 15 or 12 to 15 minutes, and we talked for like 70 minutes.
Yeah, long time.
We talked for a long
They
time.
could have done very well, I have to say.
Yeah, they did, and it's absolutely. We thought it was grand because you can't prepare, and then actually. It's awful because you sit there and you're like, what the fuck is he going to say?
Yeah.
What's he going to ask us about? And then you're like, if we just sit there and go, we have a podcast, all we'll talk about is a podcast. So then you have to be, you're like, he controls the story. But then you're like, wait, only when you sit there you realize, I also control
Yeah.
the story.
It's like what your teachers say when you're doing your oral. You can steer it.
Yes,
you can
it is
steer
exactly like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
screw
yeah.
do bail. It is exactly
Yeah.
like that. You have to go, all right, well, and you can see it in this, they made the cut. Mine's so blunt. He's like, we're podcast, whatever. And he's like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, but we're gigging as well, Tommy. We're gigging, you know what I mean? I like so embarrassingly over the top, like, don't forget to talk about our individual careers, our solo stand-up practice, of course. Anyway, yuck. But it's exhausting, wasn't it? Really tiring.
tough.
Also,
I mean-
when you walk into the studio, just for the vibes, you're behind a sheet, and they told us not to talk because we're comedians, and so Tommy might know our voices or something like that, which I thought was a funny kind of caveat or whatever. That
Not
they
in your
said.
case, thank God.
They were like, I
As-
do not
as
know you,
established.
Killian.
Yes,
I know
yes,
Shane.
yes.
I know Tony. I do not know you.
Anyway, please.
But then like you get on the set, and it's like he creates a real good vibe. There's Bob Dylan playing. An older Bob Dylan, and he's just sitting there, and he's got standing there in his suit and stuff. But it's like Bob
Tailored
Dylan's
suit.
playing. It's like I went down to the Gypsy in the old hotel, and you're just like giddy and nervous and stuff. And then I thought he was quite playful and less serious with us than
Yeah.
I've seen in other.
But they do a good
interviews.
job of creating the whole thing. You don't know it's like no one else is in the building.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so good. Like you can see, the only thing you can see is him, and you're sitting so close. It doesn't look like that on TV. If I crossed my legs, our toes would have touched.
Yeah, it's
So I think I had to withdraw my crossed leg.
Knee with him.
You know, which is a lot. I'm a gay man. You know what I mean? That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
kind of our thing. And like you're so close, and you just see there's a auto cue, but the auto cue just says our names, which I think was. I think they might leave there just in case he forgets.
Yes.
But that's all you can see. You don't even see one guy walked once,
Yeah.
and the rest of it, it's like no one's there.
We
So
had an
good.
ally in Fred Cook. So we were able to chat with him, and he was only delighted that we were there. And that was the third time I'd seen him that week.
I thought you'd get loads of messages. I thought you'd get like people from school message you. One fella, my friend Bassie, text me, and he hadn't actually seen it. He just saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So
Will I read out some of the messages that we got?
You got messages?
Well, no, not the messages, just the immediate aftermath.
Well, I'd like to highlight.
Some of them Tony has some things prepared for this.
I have some tweets that I.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't look
I
at
just want to
Twitter.
read that comment.
Oh yeah. Oh, you do the Instagram because I've got.
Well,
Twitter.
this is the first thing that someone said.
That's actually, he was blocked, but he did reply to another comment, this guy.
Oh, really?
So,
Firstly, can I say, everyone who we post clips and stuff like that, and it was great, although they posted some clips and I actually wasn't in a clip at first, and I was like, do you have a clip where I talk actually? Because I'm not going to post those guys, you know what I mean? And then they did actually send it on. So everyone who like commented under that, it was like lovely. All of our friends and family, and support and everyone, people who like the podcast, you were lovely and you were very kind and very supportive. But we don't really want to focus on that kind of thing. We kind of want to focus on.
I don't want to hear the Twitter, but I'll let you do it. The guy you were going to read, Killian, the first thing he commented was, all 3 will be found with child porn. And then I thought, because I hadn't seen it yet, I thought maybe there'll be some we'd add some reference to when you search young hot guys, it comes up child sex abuse. Maybe he did that.
No.
But no, he
This
was just
apropos
He
of
left
nothing.
another one and it said, 3 complete nonsense. I hope you understand that.
Yeah. Somebody said, what the fuck to him? And he wrote back and said, they're 3 complete nonsense. Do you understand that? Why did you say that?
I need to be clear. I need this.
Let me be very
point to get
clear with
across.
you, Minister.
Minister.
Young hot guys are 3 complete nonsense. Nonsense.
Am I being clear? Well, like, what part of that sentence is not clear? It's sort of firm. 3 complete nonsense.
3 complete nonsense.
Are you understanding? Am I being clear in my language?
What is it that makes us nonsense? Like, okay, I'm gay, and it's a long-lasting trope of
I
gay
think
guys are all groomers or whatever.
yeah.
But was it our clothes?
I think I think from many of the comments that I saw on Twitter,
Oh.
they think all of us are gay.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's the interpretation.
And they love that?
They're on
They're
Twitter.
supportive of us?
Oh yeah, it's just a bastion of acceptance and LGBTQ plus help and it's really good for that.
Do the tweets.
Okay, I want to highlight.
I
also,
specifically didn't.
Trigger warning.
Peter sent me one today, and I was like, Peter, I'm trying
No,
to avoid
you'll.
Twitter.
I think you'll actually like this. Also, just to give a bit of backstory, I didn't see it. I was at a wedding. I'm actually very hungover right now, but I was at a wedding over the weekend, and so I didn't actually see it until I got home, like on the Sunday night.
That's what I
also-
texted you guys in our
should-
group. I texted
yeah.
the group, and Killian was like, "Show's on now." So when I got home, then I saw that text, and I was like, "How was it? I've missed the start." And then Killian didn't answer, Tony didn't answer, and then I just sent a question mark going, "Well, like what the fuck?" And then Killian was like, "Oh, I'm out," and then Tony's like, "I'm at a wedding." And I was like, "I've seen a show," so I was like, "Great." None of us had seen it.
None of us
Excellent.
even.
It had already been on
Yeah.
TV, and it was finished, and none of us had seen it.
Yeah. And you know what? I have to say, you guys were actually, I did watch it and I thought you guys were brilliant. And so much so that even though I had my finger over the skip ahead button for the bits that I wasn't speaking, I didn't use it. I didn't utilize that.
Wow, what a
So
beautiful,
that just goes to show.
what a stunning tribute.
I actually was interested in what you had to say. Tell you who also was very interested in the guests on the Tommy Tiernan show was the Irish Daily Mirror.
Oh.
Who said, so they like to highlight sometimes what people are saying online about people who've been on. So firstly, Gavin Friday was on. It says, RTE viewers praise extremely interesting Gavin Friday after Tommy Tiernan's show appearance. Then the next thing they posted was, RTE viewers fascinated by wonderful guest on the Tommy Tiernan show. It was the woman who followed us. And nothing.
Nothing in between.
And nothing in between.
It's not our fault.
So it was
Not our fault.
newsworthy.
They put us on. It's not our fault.
Newsworthy how we were bookended.
RTE viewers in uproar after seeing 3 complete nonsense. I hope you understand that.
They will all be found with child porn.
Well, I want to highlight maybe some of the nice things that were said on our appearance. Okay, so one was from Susan. Thank you, Susan. Said 3 likable lads. Podcast not my thing, but good luck to them.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Susan.
So do appreciate that, Susan. Very much appreciate that. Someone coming in with a scorching hot conspiracy theory.
Great.
After Killian talking about how it's hard for young people to thrive, and Shane, I did dodge that question like a fucking bullet. They said, Trash Bunny Life said, tell you they wrapped up awful quick when the subject became young people not thriving here.
They wrapped up, as in us, or the show wrapped up?
They edited it. Now, obviously, in the show, we were actually talking for like a good 40 minutes after that.
Yes. They
What's
definitely.
that person called?
Trash Bunny Life.
Trash Bunny Life. You're a stupid bitch. That's a TV show. They cut it loads.
Also, he asked
they didn't
us
go,
that
whoa,
question.
whoa. They're talking about things. Wrap this up. Wrap this up.
He directly asked
Pull
us.
this. You think that's how the
We
TV
absolutely
works?
did not want to.
We didn't want to talk about
What we
that.
want to do is to be serious. We're comedians, and then that question was thrown, and God, I didn't want to answer it. And God, I don't think I did a good job, but there you go.
Whatever.
Chauncey on Twitter said, "Great to see Killian getting the platform he deserves."
Yes, it is. Finally, Killian gets the platform he deserves.
Finally, a man with with a following twice the size of Iceland is getting the platform that he deserves to talk about something he didn't want to talk about in the first place.
Finally, Killian, the guy who was directing to hundreds of thousands of people around the globe, gets a bit of a platform. 12 minutes on the RTE1 on Saturday at 10 o'clock at night.
It does give me joy to just drag you guys out of the bog and carry you up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
appreciate
that.
that.
I really
so
do.
much.
It gives me joy. That's what I felt good about. Really, we're just pulling you out of the mud.
Yeah, no, there's a few. Okay. So here we go.
Do the awful.
I'll do the awful. Okay, so someone said, whoever these people are, they are only in their 30s. I would have said early 40s, but okay.
No, see, that's me, right? Because I tell you, what does it say? That we look old. So I did remember doing
A man called Niall Horan.
Oh, that guy!
Yeah.
Maybe that guy. Is that a guy?
Yeah, see, this guy has Twitter following because his name is Niall Horan, and he had the @Niall Horan before Niall Horan. And
Yes.
that's his kind of online life. Look, he's entitled to it.
He also said another thing about our age. He said, young hot guys. The guy in the black and blue top's pretty hot, all right, but young?
Hey!
He also said, but young. He doesn't think you're young. Hands up, I'm 44 and I don't have a podcast telling people I'm young.
It's a joke, babe.
Right.
Niall, that's the joke. It's a joke, like.
babe.
Okay, so now maybe getting into the more
No,
nitty-gritty.
but that old thing is at me because I was on. Who sent me? Someone sent me this. I was on Mike and Vittorio's podcast,
Yes.
Mike and Vittorio's Guide to Parenting, and then somebody put it on Reddit, and then someone sent me the thing from Reddit and was like, "The older looking guy," but then he follows up with like it would like was funny or something, but it was like that older looking guy in the middle is very funny, and then it was like, why did you have? Why could you not just say the guy in the pink top
or the other guy on Mike and Vittoria?
the guest,
The guest. Victoria.
Yeah,
The
no.
guy who's not Mike and
The
Vittoria.
older
How do I
looking guy.
discern it? No, the old, saggy face.
That old, awful chap, that baldy fat cunt.
The one who was close to
leave me
death.
alone. Why do you have to talk about leave it?
All right, I have four more.
Four more, go on.
Well,
We shouldn't be giving these airtime. We shouldn't be giving these airtime.
this owl one said, disappointed with Tommy tonight.
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, but
Someone else
didn't
just
get-
saying,
that was
are
a drive-by on
mustaches in
Tommy.
fashion?
Yes, they are,
Yes,
yeah.
they are.
Well, there
So
you
just
go.
answer that for you. Okay, someone said, should have named the podcast the Three Drips.
Well, a drip is a drop. A drop is water is nature. Nature is beautiful. Thanks for the compliment.
There you go. Thank you very much for that.
we are the daughters of the drips you didn't drain.
we are the daughters of the drips you couldn't drain. Love
That's
Killian.
great.
That's
I love
way
that.
better than my little thing that my mum taught me years ago.
I just want to clarify one. Leopold Bloom on Twitter said,
Wow.
their podcast must be a laugh a fortnight. I'll actually let you know, it comes out every week.
And
think
it is,
that was-
there's at least
there's a-
one laugh each week.
There is at least. So actually, no, you don't have to wait every 2 weeks. Actually, if you're a bonus subscriber, you'll actually get two in a week.
I think
If that's what you mean
that
by
was his
fortnight.
joke.
Um,
No, Tony, I think it was.
People love to do
That
that
was his
online
joke.
about comedians. They're like, I haven't laughed once, or not what I call funny. It's like, is this funny? And like comedians are aware. You learn very quick when you're a comedian that like not everyone will find your material funny, and that's Well, like we know
That's great.
that's great. It's just the fact.
You know, and we're still
like,
looking
we
for those
know.
people who will find our stuff funny. But
No.
we will get there.
No, but like we know. They always say that. I was like, call yourself a comedian. You never get those comments, and you're like. Yeah, I do call myself a comedian. But like we know.
But
all
also-
comedians know that you learn that really quick. In like your third or fourth gig, you go, okay, those people never laughed, but those other people all laughed. That happens every time. It happens every time.
but also, I love your attitude towards comedy. It's kind of like very combative. You know what I mean? It's very like, oh, make me laugh. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no, that's
It's
the-
very like,
yeah.
here we are. We're in a contest. It's fucking mano a mano. Make me laugh. Otherwise, you lose. You know, that's exactly what comedy is. Okay, I've got two more.
Oh my God.
Um,
Hurry up, Dan.
Okay, sorry. Okay, one was okay. Well, firstly, when they announced to us who were coming out, someone said queers. Thank you very much.
Queers.
Yes, we did
queers.
get called.
Thank you very
And
much.
then
A few times.
it said our next guests are so and so, and then someone who's also called Tony said who are not funny. So there you go. And then the
very
last
much.
thing I'm going to say is what is the point of these three? Which I want to end on because it's a great question, really. You know, I mean, there
Three
is
drips.
three drips. I mean, there is no point. That's the thing. Also, keeping in mind that we're, three comedians, and that's, this Tommy Tiernan, like he's one of the greatest Irish comedians of all time, sitting across from us, So we're also there wanting them to love us as well, which is a bit of an unfair. It's a bit of an unfair dynamic of interviewer. And
You're sitting there going, Daddy Tommy, am I good, Daddy Tommy? Daddy Tommy, am I a good boy? Am I good doing my jokes, Daddy Tommy?
Like if that was Tubbs, you'd be like, hey, give me the fucking ball and I'll fucking slam dunk this shit.
I don't care about Ryan Tubridy's opinion.
Yeah, exactly. But it's Tommy, and so it's kind of like, not only... But I did love when he was saying about you. He's like, I've seen you both, and he didn't obviously compliment me. He actually said that he watches back my footage of the time that I bombed in front of him. So I feel better, which is funny. But he said about you, was like, I've seen you storm a stage. I've seen you storm. You have a great elan about you. You have a great elan.
Musk?
And then you said Musk. And then what's great about Shane is because he's not a fucking suck up people pleaser like I am, where I'd be like, thank you very much. You were like, And he just kept saying more compliments because you were holding space. And he just kept complimenting you more and more.
If the man is going to talk about me being good, let him do it. Let it run its course. He's going to say, he said a few different bits, and I was like, you just keep working away on that.
Tony, I saw you. You were terrible.
Thank you very much.
It was awful.
Thank you
Shane,
very
you're
much.
incredible. Killian, I've never seen you. I don't want to see you.
I've never seen you.
I don't want to see you. You look foreign or something.
Tell me, where are you
Shane,
really
you're
from?
incredible. Your storm rooms.
Yeah.
Your storm rooms. Tony, awful. Shane, incredible. Killian, I've never seen you.
And Shane had this look about it being like,
Shane's,
yes. Shane's deepest...
What am I supposed to do?
I know, it's the right thing to do, but your deepest point of reflection of all the questions is just getting complimented. You're like,
correct.
Well, yeah.
Correct.
I was also trying to think of...
That's absolutely true, Tommy. And
I was also trying to think of what do you then say after that? How do, like, because it was also time that I had to respond in some way. So I can't go, yeah, I'm fantastic. I'm like, I had to try. Anyway, look, it doesn't matter.
well, look, it was great to hang out with him anyway.
Look, it was good, and I feel like I'm slagging it off now, right? Because that's our job as comedians. But it was good. I'm glad of the opportunity, and I hope that the gals aren't listening, going, "What the fuck? They were so nice to us in the day, and now they're just bitching about it." No. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that.
We have a kind of an expectation of what a good performance is, and I think it's very hard to kind of like be able to benchmark that when you just have to go out and talk about serious things.
Yeah,
you know?
I even feel like this podcast is not our normal podcast, and I feel bad about that now. Do you know what I mean? I feel
it's a big deal. It's a big thing. Big thing we all shared.
No, it's not a big deal because, as you can see, nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, well, that's also
nobody.
The big deal is finding out that it wasn't a big deal at all.
my friend Alice said it was great. She said it was really great.
Yeah.
She
Who was
wanted
best?
them to put it on the pub TV, and I said, if you do that, I will. I know it's your birthday.
Mm.
If
Oh,
do
you were
that,
at the pub for her birthday
I will
that night.
fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Imagine that. And I was also very, unfortunately, wearing the exact same T-shirt. And Anna said she wanted to put it on while I was in the bathroom. Imagine I'd walked out wearing the T-shirt, and then on the telly was me wearing the T-shirt.
It is a lovely T-shirt.
First of all, I would
It
be
is.
like, he doesn't have many clothes.
I was raging my outfit in the end, then I fucked it up. Anyway,
No, I
looked
thought you
great.
looked
I thought you
great.
looked
You looked
beautiful.
great.
I thought I looked the worst, and I felt bad for all gay men around the world.
No, I thought that it was
Yeah,
great. There were a lot of
totally
nice. They said the older guy looks great.
The older looking guy.
The
the older looking guy. I am. Do you know what? I
the straight
joke on
cut,
this
the
pod
straight
about
one.
getting the surgery or getting whatever else.
Vasectomy?
Not vasectomy.
Be
Getting
very careful, you and Raymond.
injections or whatever. I'm getting them all now. I'm getting them.
Yeah?
them. Ah, fuck it. I'm getting them. Yeah. I'm
Start with
gonna
the cheeks.
What's wrong with my cheeks?
No, just get those big fucking cheekbones.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, I got filler. I don't know. I'm gonna get stuff done now. I'm sick of it. I always have to hear people's comments on my appearance, and I'm just like, that's my least favorite thing, and that's very vulnerable of me to share. But I hate it. I hate people commenting on it. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Oh,
They find the worst parts that you don't like about yourself, and they just say it online. It's terrible.
yeah. Especially when it's like, oh look, I saw a guy who looks like you. You know, we talked about that before. Don't send us any lookalikes, please. Oh my god, it's
I
never
Blocked somebody from messaging me or whatever, restricted them on Instagram because they made some comment about my eye under my eyes, and I was like, right, I'm never going to hear from you again. They have now successfully grown their account into a big account. It's a terrible, boring account that does. Your Irish people do this, that, and the other. It's one of those kind of things. Yeah.
It wasn't me, was it?
Irish people.
No, it
are
wasn't you. No, it wasn't you. But I think they have more followers than you even now.
wow.
But yeah, anyway, gone.
I would say you're the least-
And
least
I
baggy out
we
of
got
the
a
three
few
of us.
messages the other day of got a few different. Lately, Young Hot Guys got a few messages about. Thought this was Shane for a second, and you've all been deleted from sending us new messages as well, because that's my policy on that.
Now that we are mainstream, I think there's going to be a couple of changes around, actually.
Yes.
I have had a real goo on me now to be a lot more serious, having been on the show. And I'd like to pivot the podcast directly into maybe some of the things that we were talking about, you know, like
Okay.
whether we
Issues.
love Ireland or not, or whether Ireland's been
I thought you said we were going to become more, because obviously this is, I'm predicting, because we were on the Tommy Tiernan show.
Yeah.
This is going to become #1 podcast in Ireland.
Yeah.
Going to pip out all the other ones because we were on the Tommy Tiernan show. So we need to change the name because the name is obviously confusing people.
Yeah.
So either the 3 drips or the 3 nonces.
Yeah.
And we need to start talking about like 2FM kind of stuff. 2FM
What about
I've been trying to push
what
that
about
for a while.
old queer drips?
old queer drips?
Who are in parentheses not funny.
Who are not funny.
And
We're
only
old
couldn't-
queer drips. Of course, we have a photo wildlife jumper. Just inserting stuff into it.
That was a very,
Of course, we're actual nonsense.
Oh, we could. Okay, yeah.
Okay, there's something in that.
Okay, yeah. Let's work on that. Let's work on that.
But yeah, no, we are funny, and you know
We're
that.
not.
No, we are.
We're not. I watched it. Wasn't that funny? The podcasts aren't my thing. They seem like likable guys, but podcasts aren't my thing.
I would like to highlight though and reflect on maybe how much more I prefer the podcast thing, and how kind of, with the greatest respect of everyone who works in Tommy Tiernan's show, how antiquated an actual television interview kind of is, really, and how in either getting to the depth of either a topic or even the vibe or the tone, you know, of an actual thing. Obviously, you know, we get to have fun here. You get to listen to a conversation for us. The idea for us to go on TV and be like, well, it's a podcast where we're kind of shooting the shit. That sounds fucking shit.
Yeah,
that
yeah, of
sounds
course.
really shit.
That's what I thought from the beginning. I was like, I said that to you before. I was like, this isn't interesting. It's not interesting. There's no hook.
Yeah.
There's no story.
Or
What's
by
the
cross.
story? Oh, we were like, oh, do you want to do a podcast? All right, let's try one.
Yeah, for
like,
business
that's-
reasons.
Like,
Yeah. We're not even best friends. It's not even like that. One of those.
we're not even friends.
we're new friends.
It's not. There's no. So we're talking about like something from an interesting perspective or anything like that, really.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
love
a good,
it.
It's a good
I
podcast.
still
A lot
love
of
it.
people like. Are we kind of talking ourselves out of doing this?
No, I'm saying that this is the
No,
podcast.
no. It's just that it's not unique at all. Like, it's unique in that it's us, but that's the only thing that's unique.
We're being too honest right now. We need to. I think.
yeah,
we have
do you feel like we're saying too
we're
much?
too honest. We have to be a bit showbiz right now, and like even though they've heard us talking all these kind of things, we have to just right now talk about this podcast as if it's the best podcast in Ireland.
No,
That's what we
I
need
am
to
saying
be
that
doing.
this podcast is. I'm saying with the greatest
And
respect
I
of
agree
TV,
with you, Tony.
that TV is like, it doesn't get across. It doesn't get across the elan, the vim, the vigor. It doesn't get the tone. It doesn't get. You can't joke. You can't speak long form. You can't talk yourself into a little comedy cul-de-sac and then have other people.
Something
kind of
I
step
like
in.
about this podcast is that it really gives Killian Sundermann the platform that I think he deserves.
Well, no, no. Famously, this podcast doesn't. The appearance on Tommy Tiernan.
This
It does.
podcast, that's what I. Oh yeah, something I don't like about this podcast is that it doesn't give Killian Sundermann the platform that he deserves.
Yeah.
Baby, I've been on the 6 o'clock show. Okay, I know TV. I know broadcast television. Thank you very much.
I like Tony, but the other two are only okay, and they're misogynists.
So there you go. You do radio, Shane, and I don't think people realize how
I
hard
don't
it is.
do radio.
You do more radio than the rest of us.
I go on the
you
radio.
go on the radio. You do radio. That's like saying, "Oh, I don't play the guitar, but anyway, here's Stairway to Heaven. I'm shit."
Okay,
You know,
right.
you
but I
do-
don't have a radio show.
No, I know, but you're good on the radio, and it is a skill that has to be learned because you literally you speak within 20 seconds in between songs. There's a sponsor thrown in there. You have to dilute this idea into like 16 words. You know, it's a tough thing to do to actually get across those kind of, you know, an actual personality. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying that what's broadcast is very different and very hard to do and get across as compared to podcasts, which are fucking class.
We just have the crack here. It's so
We
much
just have the fucking
nicer.
crack
I
here.
did
Oh,
an Australian radio interview on Paddy's Day.
Right.
Oh, you did it this time?
I did it because last time I was sick, and then they were like, oh, "We'll talk to us about Paddy's Day." But then I'd had 4 pints, and they were like, "Have a few pints. Don't worry about it. It'll be good crack." And so I was like, "Okay, I will," and I did. And I was definitely not a good idea because I was
Really?
like just very loosey goosey. I was in the kitchen. I was definitely shouting.
You had 4 pints in your kitchen.
No, I was at my friend's house.
Oh, okay.
And then they were all in the other room, and I was like, I want to give off the vibe that we're all like crazy Irish people going crazy. When in reality, we were people in their 30s playing that game where you have to bend down and bite the cereal box, and
That's
then
a
they
great
rip off
game.
a layer.
It's a
Do you have
game.
any idea how good I am at that game? Now, I
you'd
haven't
be
played it
so
in a
good at
while. I haven't played it in a while, but like I could lick it off the floor, the last piece. I could do it. No
I
bother.
could imagine.
Do you know that
Yes.
game?
Yeah, I
I
love it.
imagine you being incredible at it.
I was in the scouts and all. I used to be like, oh, delighted. It'd be in some group with like other groups are mixed together. And you're on some little adventure, whatever. And they're like, right, do some icebreakers. I'd be like, fuck yes. I'd be like, yes, get that going. you tear that cornflakes box.
My name's Shane.
more
I
and
like
more.
sandcastles. Let's get to the cereal box.
If you don't know the game, it's a game where you have an empty cereal box and then you put it on the ground. Everyone's got to bite it up. You can't touch it with your hands. Then you tear off a layer of the cereal box and it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. You got to bend lower and lower and lower. And I dip it low.
I'd say there's like a 3 kg box of Frosties, and then for the very first go, you just do a fucking split drop. And start reefing at the bottom of the thing.
No, I would
Shane's
hold,
like,
voguing my way down.
Slut drop, but his back technically doesn't touch the ground, and he just tears off the
imagine being
side.
Cormac and the Scouts and seeing him, Shane, coming across like,
Sorry,
voguing.
Cormac. Sorry.
Doing the
Anyway,
splits.
you're on the radio. You're playing that game where you all.
Well, they're
That's
all
wild.
doing that in the other room, but I was like, listen, like these Aussies, they want us to sound rock and roll. They want us to sound like proper. I'm like, we need to engage in some paddywhackery right fucking now.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So they all just kind of, I went into the room and I was like, we're on Australian radio. And all my friends just like standing there, literally playing this incredibly boring game in the living room, start going, Ole, you'll never beat the Irish. Ole. And they were just like cheering and chanting like that. The guy was like, wow, what's going on in there? They must be having so many Guinnesses.
Crazy.
And, they were,
God,
like-
Killian.
and then the door closes and they all go like straight back like, okay, Louise, we'll just tear a little layer off. And they're like, maybe if you bend your legs and kind of hold, you have to keep your hands behind. It was like the most, tame kind of 30s party.
Why did you get money for it?
No, because I kind of wanted to do it because my brother and sister live in Australia.
Okay, yeah,
and they were all going to be listening in the joinery. And then I don't know why. Sometimes you do this,
In the joinery.
Of course.
and I don't know why. Like I did this, and I kind of hope I didn't come off that way. But sometimes when you're doing these things, there was 2 of them,
4
and
points.
I thought it might be funny for some reason to kind of be a bit antagonistic with one of them because sometimes that's just sometimes a funny thing you can
Yeah,
do.
but
when
that's
you do,
not your vibe.
But you know,
Killian.
in a kind of like
You're a nice fella. You're not to be doing antagonism.
You'll never beat the
He
Irish,
said,
and you can't.
he said like there was something he said where he was like and you guys are probably drinking a lot of Guinness over there, and I was like, well, that's actually a very offensive mildly something like that, doing that kind of thing, a little bit of joshing. And then I was talking about my brother's door that he built that was in my brother built a door that was in The Fall Guy that Ryan Gosling broke through.
Oh, yes.
cool.
So
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
the doors in that movie broke through it, and then
In between
and then he
translating for the
said,
Vatican.
and was the door supposed to break, or is that just bad workmanship? And I was like, well, are you like going after Irish men's workmanship? I find that quite offensive, and I kind of did that line with him twice, and then the response was not good, and I was like,
What did he say?
oh, he just kind of, it was like a dead end.
Right.
It wasn't like it was just like a dead end in the conversation, and radio has to be so upbeat and high and
Yeah.
stuff. And they were like, are you coming over? And I was like, well, I'm sure you've got enough Irish comedy over there. Am I right, guys? No, maybe sometime soon, but I'm just having a great crack right now. You guys?
Don't push the boat out, Killian. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
I love-
No, it's
No,
good.
no,
I
you
was
shouldn't.
good, but I
You were great, I'm sure, but you shouldn't have done that.
No.
I love
Don't
when
do
they
pu-
have
don't do
you
whip
accuse
lines.
them of being offensive while you're like you got
Yes.
drunk on Paddy's Day
Yeah.
as an Irish person and fabricated kind of a much more rowdier,
Yes.
drunken Irish.
Yes.
You sang some rebel songs and then accused them of being offensive, even though you gave the most reductive interpretation of what an Irish person
You know
is.
those basic analysis of a bully is that they are actually projecting
Yes.
their own insecurities. It's definitely like, you guys are just engaging in paddywhackery here, which is
Yeah.
like exactly what I was doing. I was at a very base level, simple psychology. I was insulted at myself for having done what I did, and then I
Yes.
threw that on them. When in
Yes.
reality, I was the monster the whole time.
The call was coming from within the house.
Yes.
Well, in the kitchen in this case.
Yes.
Wow.
You'll always find Killian in the party.
Oh,
God. Oh, fuck.
Raymond,
You will always find Killian in the kitchen at parties. Oh, God.
how'd
You
you
know,
get there?
you will always find him in the kitchen at parties. On the phone to Australian radio.
Radio show.
3 points. 4 points. That's great.
It was good crack. And my brother...
They did listen.
Did they play it on the food truck?
My brother was in bed asleep because he'd done an all-nighter doing some Versace doors or something like that. He does mad things.
Jesus
But my
Christ.
sister was in there with everyone in the shop, and they were all laughing.
In the joinery.
In the joinery, yeah.
joinery, of course.
And then the guy who they get their coffee off
the
in
hammer.
the morning, who actually listened to the show for 2 hours when I didn't show up last time, he listened as well. So I mean, that's a vast network. And so when I come to
You're
Australia,
truly building an audience. Yeah.
that's
Your
it.
own
beautiful.
siblings, a coffee guy.
Yes.
And a coffee guy in Australia, very rare.
Very rare. There's not many of them.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I've never been.
Very
It's
European.
a little
I've
joke
heard it's
because
quite
there's a lot of
European.
there's a great, kind of a coffee culture. in Melbourne
European.
anyway,
Yeah.
kind of a coffee culture. We haven't done a Melbourne joke in a long time. Narm, isn't that what they call it? That's the original name. Anyway, I'm nervous. I don't know why. I'm gone jittery.
Well, listen, I'm the most nervous because, as I've said, I'm very hungover. I'm very sad, and I came in here 3 hours early today.
Yeah.
Came in here, this morning, and I was full of vim and vigor, and as the Americans call it, spunk.
I was embarrassed for you. Tony sent us in a picture going, I'm 3 hours early. We're like, oh. And I was like, that's
what do you want me to
embarrassing.
do?
That wasn't even in the top 5 of the feelings. I didn't consider being embarrassed about it.
Oh, yeah, take that on as well then. What else
Okay.
can we give you for your fear?
Oh.
Shame.
Yes.
Shame.
Oh, I thought you said Shane. I was like, yes. I was like, yes. I thought Killian was swiftly moving to a new topic. Shane. I was like, yes, Killian, go ahead. Ready for your next
Did
question.
you watch that Game of Thrones episode, Ringing the Bell? Shame. And you're like, yeah? Shame. Yes. Shame. Yeah, so I need you used to do the podcast, actually. That's
You've
what I was
done a
thinking.
great job at being hungover on the podcast. We didn't even, you wouldn't know.
Thank you very much.
Maybe they all listen at home going, something sounds off, and they're all going, ah.
Do you think, sorry, just to keep on that Shane thing, you know the way that used to be a thing
Shame,
definitely
shame,
during
shame.
austerity that like, you know, like Eamon Gilmore was in the pub and they were all just crying.
Shame.
Shame. Like, what if you were a politician and that's the chant that they say? Would it just look
Oh.
like, would people just report it as, you know, group of disgruntled voters go and point at Shane Daniel Byrne and
Yeah.
shout Shane at him?
Well,
They'd
I
be
don't
like,
intend. I don't intend to run for any office, so that's unlikely that would
Swear, I
that
could
that
see
event.
you on the Oireachtas.
I don't want to
see
be
you
part
on
of
the
the
Oireachtas.
Oireachtas. I don't want to be part of it at all.
I
Don't want
could
to
see
be
you
part
on
of
it.
I think they'd be like, oh, they're chanting your name. And you'd be like, well, are they saying Shane? Or are they saying Shane?
I was saying Shane.
I was saying
Yeah.
Shane.
I wouldn't do anything shameful either. I'd be completely immaculate. I'd be the first politician to ever be perfect.
Do you
That's
have
a
anything
shameful
that,
thing to say.
do you-
And to plug. Don't know why I thought that was funny. It wasn't. They thought he said, "Do you have anything?" And then I was like, "Do you want to plug?" Like I don't know.
Good to go in then.
I don't know. I thought that was funny. I don't know. Sorry.
Do you have any skellies in the wardrobe?
Like,
And that would come out that's like beyond the kind of like the dirt. If
No, I
anyone
don't
out
think-
there wants to go digging, is what I'm saying.
see.
I don't think
Obviously,
so.
that was that porn on our hard drives.
Yes.
There's, yeah, all three of us will be found.
Yeah.
We
I
haven't
hope
got
you
it-
understand that.
We haven't started yet, but we will be found.
Yes.
Do you know, I once
That'll come soon.
when I was living in London, my ma sent me a text and she was like, "I'm finally cleaning out your room.
Mm.
I'm going to bring your laptop in or whatever like that. You want to get rid of it or whatever? So I'm like, just sell it or exchange it or whatever." And I said, "No, ma'am, delete the hard drive. Look, there's photos on there. They're kind of illegal material. Can you delete it?"
your mum.
And then she texts back, "Okay, how do I delete?" And I was like, "Oh God, she really would. She really
Just
would.
fuck it in the liffey.
She really would like try and like I could do anything.
Yeah.
And she would genuinely just try and
She was like, "Sure, I'm on board.
I'm on board. I'm in for a penny.
Yeah,
For a
let's
pound,
go. I'll help you
know.
bury the body, son."
Yeah, so that was they're very nice to see. But no, luckily there was no dirt on that. Nothing beyond the old bit of lads WhatsApp kind of filth that you be sending to each other.
I'm not in the lads WhatsApp group.
You're not.
I can send you
No.
filth.
Yeah, I do. You sent us the.
What about the one that's us? That's a lads WhatsApp group.
Yeah, but no, that's our group is no longer a fun little chirpy group. Sure, it's now.
No,
It's
very
like, can you
business.
switch to Wednesday? That's what we're at now.
Yeah.
I
And we
showed
actually
up
set
3
that
hours
up.
early.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I included Hilary in that just to make her feel bad. But for some reason, she didn't do it.
She didn't really care. She was like, "Oh, well, I'm working."
She was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
No, we actually set up our WhatsApp group, just the three of us, because we found the other one's getting a bit too businessy. I think we need to maybe just send us a couple of little jokey messages.
Yeah.
We have 4 WhatsApp groups.
The big willies and
this
stuff like
podcast.
that. You know the ones you click
You
into
did
and you're
send
like,
us those. You did send us the strippers that time in Belfast.
Yes,
You said, "I have pictures. Do you
Oh,
want
yeah.
to see them?"
Yeah.
And but I think
the Devonish.
So
the
there's willies in
Devonish,
it.
yeah. But we'd already looked at them in a services on the way to Belfast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'd already seen them.
We'd already seen them. I
Wow.
showed Killian them.
I was like, look at a hog on this.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Supermax, I think we were
It
at
was in
Supermax.
Supermax. That's where I do most of my porn viewing.
And he only watches porn on my phone. So
Shane, can I borrow your phone for a sec?
And I'm going to get Supermax where on the A1.
can I talk about something that's completely different to all this stuff?
Absolutely.
What's
thank
the
God.
film? You know the Kieran Culkin won the Oscar for the
A
film.
real
Yeah, real pain.
pain.
We watched that last night, and I hate when people do this when everyone likes the thing.
Wow, here we go.
Didn't like it at
Oh,
all.
I loved it.
Did you?
I loved it.
Why?
I thought it was beautiful. beautiful humanist story.
Human. But does anyone?
He has to love it because of the
Does
guilt.
anyone behave like that?
He has to love
Did
it
you
'cause of
see
the
it,
guilt.
Tony?
No, I
Does
haven't seen
anyone
it.
behave like that in real life?
Americans.
But that's what me and Raymond were wondering. Are Americans like that? Are there some Americans like that who's like, this is obnoxious. It's unpleasant.
I mean, I think that you get such a good understanding into the character, and he's like probably got some sort of, maybe like, I don't want to die, but like maybe bipolar or something like that. But he's within this very extreme character. There's also, he can be incredibly rude, but then he's also incredibly compassionate, and he's fascinated. And there's a childlike thing
maybe.
to him.
I just wanted to post something about it, and then I was like, I won't. I saw somebody post about it. People love doing this. It's always men. And they post about like the thing, everyone enjoyed the Severance finale or whatever. And some guy posted like, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I thought it should have been like episode 5 of a series of a 10. I was like, oh, shut up. Shut up. Everyone knows better than everybody else. What a boring position to take. But anyway, I was just surprised.
I'm so sick of fucking opinions. I don't want to hear what anyone thinks about anything ever again.
No,
I really just.
Opinions are like arseholes.
I'm not serious, but I just find there's
shit.
just this fucking thing where it's like all the time it's like, this is what I think about this and this is what I think about that, and here's actually what we're trying to do is get a piping hot take, and it's like, oh my god, you have to do this is the way, and they're always telling you that you're doing things wrong, you've been using the scrubber wrong, and you've been using the windscreen wiper wrong the whole time. It's just like, I don't know, I'm just
and
fucking
you're
sick of it
addicted
all.
to what's the endorphins or not endorphins? What's the serotonin or
Dolphins.
You're addicted to dolphins. You have cortisol withdrawal.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
shut the fuck up.
Oh.
Shut the fuck. Maybe there is a point. Like if
There
you
is
just
a
talk
point,
shite, everyone just talks shite and enjoy themselves. Yes, read the news. Yes, write to your TDs about the Occupied Territories bill. But at the same time, talk as much shite as you can, because everyone's dying to be so serious about it. Shut up.
Irish people used to be very shameful about their opinions, and they used to just they would just agree with everyone
Tony has
publicly.
a thing on opinions.
Well, famously, they're like arseholes in that everyone's got one. And they have shit on them.
Shit comes out of them.
George Carlin, the new Irish George Carlin. I just think maybe
Gorgeous
maybe
Carlin.
I don't actually think this at all, but I just feel like I just think
Immediately back
You
to
see,
I
this is
don't.
great.
Maybe I don't, and I don't
Your
want
strong conviction about
feel like-
opinions. Maybe you should have opinions.
like the kid in Fairy Godparents, like an episode of Fairy Godparents. Like, I wish no one had opinions. And the first day is great, but then it's like, horrible things happen. I'm like, I wish no one had I wish I had no bones. That kind of thing.
I had a weird realization a couple of years ago with myself being like, I was like, oh my God, I'm a fucking little contrarian troll. And I tried to stop it there. And then I remember one time someone was cracking an egg, right? And they were cracking it on the side of the bowl. And I'd seen a fucking video that was like, apparently, I didn't eat eggs at the time. I eat eggs now. That you're meant to crack it on a blunt kind of thing because you get more shell. And so I was like, the actual way of cracking an egg is you actually on the side. And I'm like, and they were like, you don't even eat eggs. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Shut the fuck up. Another time, I remember.
Shut the fuck up. That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Like, I really think an awful lot of people need to shut the fuck up.
Yes.
And at one time, I remember when Bobby Womack died, soul legend Bobby Womack died, and I saw that in the news, and I'm like, oh, Womack. I actually didn't know Bobby Womack. Is he the guy who has that song from Womack and Womack? Like do 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 the baby of you. You know that song?
Sure.
Teardrops in my eyes.
I love that song.
Let's
Yeah,
dance.
that's
and I
Womack.
thought it was that one that died, and then I read it up, and I was like, oh no, it's a different Womack. And then 5 minutes later, I saw someone post on Facebook, so sad to hear about Bobby Womack. This is one of my favorite songs, and they post that song. And I was about to type, it's actually that I just learned that it wasn't that Womack. And I came in here with a fucking scorching hot being like, I need to school this bird. I'm like, actually, I think you're fine. And I'm like, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think everyone else has that self-awareness, but you're all a piece of shit and opinions are like assholes.
I don't think you guys are as self-aware as me.
Yeah. But like, you're just drawn to it. It's just,
Yeah,
Anyway.
but everyone used to be more shitty years ago on the internet, and then we all grew up. But some people are still shitty on the internet. But I do think, like, I'm just tired. I mean,
Well, I think as well as me being hungover, also, I was very like nervous about the whole Tommy thing because it was like, I was like, I don't know what the metrics of success is. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things being like, who are these fuckers talking about nothing? Or if they take a clip and all of a sudden that is something that people kind of latch onto. Because I even said to Terry, she was like, what you talk about? And I was like, and I started talking about these things. And I was like, oh no, actually, do you know what? That was with my therapist the day after.
Yeah.
And I had conflated the two. That's how kind of intense. So I think now we can actually just relax a little bit, get back to the silly billiness of it all. You know what I mean?
And if you want to be seeing some silly billies on tour, you can see Shane Daniel Byrne where?
I am going to be in the month of May. I'm going to be in Waterford, Killarney, Dublin City, and Vicar Street, Treac Blanchardstown, another place which I have forgotten.
I'm going to be in Newbridge. I'm going to be in Cork City.
Wow.
I'm going to be in Belfast.
Holy shit.
I'm going to be in Dublin Town and Vicar Street on the 30th of May, the day before Shane Daniel Burns in
For
May.
some reason,
and
that's
I don't
crazy.
know why I feel like I'm expanding, I'm exploding, I'm here.
I'm also going to Castle Bar and Guidor in May as well. So that's it. And then I'm finished in May. That's at the end of it now. I'm not doing anything else.
And I'll be knocking about Dublin 14. Because I live there. But look, thanks very much for listening to the pod. If you love this pod and you want some more hardcore fucking silly billy fun, where we get the silliest of the
I
billies
can't
on.
wait to do the bonus now.
I
You're
know.
right. I'm
You
like,
can listen to it over
this
on the
felt so
bonus,
serious.
Young Hot Guys, for only the price of a pint, actually.
cheaper than a pint now. You can't say that
I'm
anymore.
in a $7.50.
That's the you used to be able to say things were the price of a pint. You know when someone's doing
Yeah.
the GoFundMe or whatever, you'd say, look, throw in the price of a pint. Price of a pint won't cut it now.
I had Jameson Cook
cheaper
there
than
over
a
the weekend,
pint. I
14
I wish
quid.
they were giving us the price of a pint. We'd be bloody millionaires.
We'd be bloody millionaires.
Bloody millionaires.
Yes. Do we get to pick the pub? Temple Bar.
Thanks very much. And a packet of crisps on top. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anyway, look, thanks very much. I
I've
love
seen
you.
a pint in some of the places are a tenner. There's a boring topic. If anyone says that to me, I'm going to shove them. I'm going to shove, some places have a bar now that's up to a tenner. I'm like, all right.
Save it for the bonus.
Okay.
great.
No, just throw that in at the end. I don't mind throwing in things at the end. That's the kind of podcast this is.
We're wacky.
Sometimes I'll throw in another point at the very end, even though we've already done the plugs and we've already done, I don't care. I'm not
It's the
ashamed.
parsley section of the podcast. Just put it on the end. Little garnish at the end of the episode.
It's long.
Bye.
Fall.
They're attractive.
Very attractive. Hot and loud.
And a little bit sad.
He was the best guy around.
Oh my, is it hot in here or what?
You're an attractive guy.
It's the fabulous Tony Cantwell.
I'm talking about Shane Daniel Byrne.
Killian Sundermann!